Exposure to toxic substances can cause a variety of different types of harm. Folks who have been exposed to toxic substances may suffer personal injuries or property damage from things like groundwater contamination, pollution, asbestos exposure, pesticide applications, etc. Most recently in the news, prominently, at least in the Atlanta area, was the BioLab fire in Conyers, Georgia. This has a lot of people justifiably concerned about their exposure to a chlorine gas that is known to cause acute and possibly also more chronic and long-term health complications, respiratory irritation of the skin and eyes, etc., and tens of thousands of individuals in the Atlanta area have been under shelter-in-place orders and have evacuated parts of the surrounding area because of this. So this is an ongoing situation, of course, but some government officials have said it's not a major concern, but again, folks are justifiably concerned, and there will no doubt be legal action from this. So let's look at what the legal basis is for these types of torts. So oftentimes the government, whether that be the Federal Department of Justice or the EPA or state attorneys general, will intervene through a civil suit and take on the companies that are polluting and releasing toxic substances into the environment. But private citizens who suffered harm may also have a private right of action, and this is based on the legal doctrines of trespass and nuisance. So those essentially are what they sound like. It's no different when it comes to a trespass. If I step across the property line onto your property, it's no different when instead of a person stepping across the property line, it is a toxic gas or polluting substance that's crossing over that property line. And a nuisance, in the legal sense, is really anything that causes an ongoing harm. And so just like playing loud music could be considered a nuisance, so is the release of toxic substances into the environment. And private citizens who do bring a private right of action can seek either an injunction and or damages. So by an injunction, that is asking the court to order the other party to stop the offending activity, order this company to stop polluting. They may also seek, or in the alternative, seek damages for past harm caused. That could be injuries to their person or to their property. And in these situations, class action lawsuits are often helpful because of the large number of people affected, and because oftentimes each individual within the class may not have suffered a harm that's severe enough to make bringing a separate lawsuit economical or practical, but lumped together, all the people who have suffered a similar harm from a similar activity or the same activity can join a class action lawsuit. And before that class action lawsuit can proceed, the court has to certify that it meets the legal requirements found in Rule 23 of Civil Procedure in the Federal Code or Official Code of Georgia 9-11-23. Some examples, we've talked a bit about the BioLab fire in Conyers. The chemical involved there was what's known as trichlor for short, or trichloroisocyanuric acid. And this is just basically chlorine for pools and hot tubs. But it can have acute and chronic health effects, and the long-term risk of cancer is really unknown. And this is responsible for the strong chlorine smell that was widely reported following the fire in the Atlanta and Conyers and other parts of Georgia. Other widely reported instances of environmental or toxic torts include the Camp Lejeune, North Carolina water contamination. Resulted in a large settlement or disability compensation to affected veterans. Also, in terms of disability payments for veterans, many veterans were exposed to toxic burn pits in Iraq and Afghanistan. Another example is in recent news is the train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, which resulted in a large fire and emission of chemicals that people in the area were reporting adverse health effects from. You have probably heard of Erin Brockovich, the film and the advocate for environmental protection. Her work involving California Power Company, PG&E, and that drinking water contamination. And one ongoing and deeply concerning issue is that of ethylene oxide emissions. This is a toxic chemical used to sterilize medical equipment, along with other commercial uses, which emits gas into the air and can cause cancer. This is, of course, a very serious problem. It's ongoing with regard to litigation. It's being litigated in both private suits and with regard to the EPA's rules on what should be considered a safe or acceptable level. So, environmental torts, this is important work for lawyers to protect consumers and to protect citizens from harmful emissions and to hold those companies and individuals who pollute and break the law accountable.